Welcome, students. My name is Mr. Young.
And Jay, you need to put your shirt on first.
Oh, right. Welcome, students, to my video series for Immune Cell Academy. My video series for mostly video game art, but it could be for other art, and I'm hoping that it won't be just artwork. It might be programming and other video game related things, but I do have a nice shirt and tie on, as you see. I actually got this tie back in college, and so I've had it for about 15 years, but I thought it official that I should bring it out and show you. This whole video is just to give you a welcome and give you a bit of knowledge about me, like who I am. Who is Mr. Young, you may ask? Well, I was born in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Yes, that's right, I'm a Canadian citizen living in the United States of America. And it is by choice, but I don't know if I had nothing that I do right now that I would choose to live here, but that's a whole nother video. Well, I was born and raised in Regina, and when I was 18, I went to college, and to Algonquin College of Applied Arts, and where I took television animation. So you might see me looking over to the side. That's where my TV is, and it's prompting me what to say. But after college, which was between 1994 and 1996, was my college years, and I did graduate. I do have a diploma in television animation, which in American terms that's like having a bachelor's degree, but that's beside the point. But 3 months before I finished the school, I was hired at Arctic Entertainment Studios, where I started my video game career rather boring in making 2D graphics for elements on the side of a 3D motorcycle racing game. But I didn't have anything to do with the 3D, because 3D for me, I was too young. I was just a kid. I was just hired as a grunt, and I had to pay my dues before I could get into 3D work. But I worked at Arctic for on that game. It was my start, but then I got into 3D in my next game called In Medieval Times for Asian A Publishing, and in that game I worked with 2 other students from my class who also had an affinity for 3D graphics, and I've lost contact with them, so I don't know what they're doing now, but heck, I'm sure they're doing better than I am. But in Medieval Times, we created a full 3D environment for a medieval town, and on a green screen they filmed live motion actors and put them on our 3D backgrounds. And for I think it was 97, it was a very cutting edge game. But from there I also moved on. Let's see, oh that's right, I moved on to my next 3D opportunity was making objects and environments for a game called UFOs, which is a point-and-click adventure game featuring a little purple alien called Ganap. He was hand-drawn, but he was put on my 3D backgrounds and interacted with my 3D objects. And I also did, from there I moved on to Monopoly Star Wars, where I worked for, I had to bed for about 6 months, and I made characters like R2-D2 and Chewbacca and a Stormtrooper and C-3PO. And I actually, that was actually the first game where I got to do animation. I did the animation on C-3PO to Anthony Daniels voiceover. I never got to meet him, however, but I did work on a few various other games where I did get to meet big name people. Like I worked on both games, Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, where I met Alex Trebek and Vanna White, who they were pretty nice people, but they didn't get to know us at all. We were just video game people. We were no one to them. And then I did conceptual work on Qbert, and which was conceptual work. Like I did the animation test for how Qbert would jump, and some tests on how the cubes and stuff would look in 3D, but I never actually worked on the actual game itself. But it was more preemptive stuff that I did. But and I like to think that it was pretty important. But some of the higher ups at Artec probably just gave it to me to shut me up and said, "What the heck, he's leaving." I started on that when I met my wife on, my first wife, I should say, who is now my ex-wife. But I met her online, and she actually lived 6 hours away from me in Syracuse, New York. And I moved there to be with her, and where I worked on websites for a company in Barbados. And then, of course, I don't have to get into the specifics of how it happened, but we had a daughter. And when she was born, I thought, well, I need a real job. So I applied at a game company here in the U.S. called Vicarious Visions, who at the time was just a startup company. I was employee number 12, and now they're owned by Activision. And they have over 100 employees, so they're big now, but I was there when they were just starting out, and but the game I started working on there was Polaris Snowcross for the N64 and PlayStation, and that was the PlayStation one before the PS2 or PS3, so it was the original, and I worked on a few games there, and did some boxes for 2D, like 2D image manipulation and stuff. I made the box covers for EMF bowling and pro darts. I made the box covers for that. And Christy, would you be able to scroll that down a bit? I'm almost at the point where Chrissy came into my life. But as any TV star, I need to read the prompter so that I know what I'm talking about. My wife at the time was diagnosed with cancer, and so I quit Vicarious Visions, and we moved here to Elmira, New York, to be near her family, and which was great for her, but I couldn't find anything to do with video games or graphics or anything around here. As if any of you have looked for work around here, you'll know there's no video game work around here. So I ended up working retail jobs at Hollywood Video and Toys R Us, and I even assembled TVs at Toshiba. So I guess I'm not Charlie without real world work skills. I have done more than just animation, but after I worked at a few blue collar jobs, I got another animation job at a company called Optical Products Development Corporation, or OPD for short. And they were a manufacturer of 3D projectors, which were really cool. I wish they were still open, but unfortunately they closed. And so I was in a bit of a standstill, and then I started a freelance video game, or just general art and animation company called Mutant Cell Productions. Well, it wasn't called that at the time, but I went to I did some video game work for companies in Holland, and I did a video project for Phelps Laundry in I'm not sure where they were from, but I did work for them, and then I was diagnosed with a type of blood cancer called Langerhans cell histiocytosis, which gave me cerebral ataxia, which is just a fancy way of saying I lost motor skills, and now I talk funny and stuff. But and I cannot walk. I'm in a wheelchair now, and I tried still working at my freelance job when I was diagnosed, but I was just too slow to work on a full production game. And as you can, maybe you can tell, maybe you can't, but my videos are sped up because I talk a bit slow, and I just move a bit slower and stuff. So I've sped it up to hopefully make a little more pleasurable to watch. But after I was too slow to work in the real world of games, I took up teaching at GST BOCES in Elmira, New York, teaching video game design to high school juniors and seniors, and which many of you know me from there. But I'm hoping that others watch these videos too. But I worked there for about, I would like to say about a year, and then I got separated from my first wife, and we got divorced, and so then I was teaching again for another 2 years, and I met the love of my life. Okay, just Kristen. We're gonna cut out her last name.
I hate it.
And is a funny side note. Once we get married, her initials will be KY for Kristen Young, and she makes jelly, strawberry jelly, not second jelly. That's silly, but she is my writer, director, producer, makeup artist, everything. I'm just costume. That's right. She made sure that I had my shirt on and stuff, and without her, my life is horrible without her. But after I met her, and it has nothing to do with my meeting her, but my eyesight has been getting progressively worse, and so I had to retire from teaching at BOCES. So I'm hoping that I can do these videos, because I really miss teaching, and I really want to do it some more. But enjoy the videos, and check out the blooper reels and my opinions, because I'm going to do opinion videos as well. But other than that, enjoy. Thank you. Goodbye.